Bryan, do estate agents use too much technical terminology? Estate agentese, as you say.
Estate agentese. Definitely. It's critical that we understand the words we use and the language we use in any walk of life, really, but in business, have an impact to the person that receives them. So if I say, and I'll give you the classic example, if I was president of UK Estate Agency, which I know you voted for me, and we'll work on our campaign later on, it would be banned. Okay, the words reduction is the number one word I would ban. I would also ban ASAP. Doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
I would also ban the use of pricing as 950 or 995 because no one finds that. You don't look at the second page of Google, first page of Rightmove, no one checks it. You know what I'm talking about. I would ban the word valuation. Yet we go out as estate agents and we use the words professional valuation, and then within 2 to 3 weeks we ask for a reduction. Let me ask you,
From the vendor.
from the vendor, how do you reduce what the vendor's never had? How do you reduce zero?
True, that's a great phrase. Never thought of it that way.
You can't. And this is how I talk to vendors when I'm sat on the couch with them, is that, this is not about reduction. A part of a strategy which includes, marketing and price. 2 strategies you need. A pricing strategy is not about valuing. It's about actually positioning, as I kind of mentioned in an earlier conversation. So ban the word valuation because there's not value. Value is determined by how well you market and how well you negotiate. And I do believe fundamentally that the very best estate agents can be directly, as individuals, not companies, as individuals, directly responsible for anything between 1 and 10% additional value through their negotiating skills if they do the job right. I'm passionate about that. So don't use the word valuation because you're not valuing, you're actually guiding and assisting and marketing. Definitely forget the word reduction, okay? Because when you say the word to a vendor, for some reason, estate agents think that when they make that, we have a price reduction day or whatever it might be, which is ridiculous. When I have a price reduction call with a vendor, they're sitting like we're sitting now, doing nothing at all, have all the relevant stats, and will pick the phone up and answer that when they know you're ringing and be able to make an informed decision. No, they're not. They're walking around Sainsbury's with probably the kids hanging off them, trying to find a tin of soup or a tin of beans or something. And then they've got the phone on their ear and we're saying we need 30 grand off the price, we need to reduce by 30 grand. And it's ridiculous. The whole process is ridiculous. Whereas if you have a proper strategy of marketing, then you use the word adjustment. Because I tell you now, Chris, I've experienced this personally very recently.
Because you still value.
I still value and I still guide my clients through it. So, for example, I'll give you an example. One of my clients is in Manchester. And very recently, we were looking to make an adjustment on a property, relatively low value property on the market at 80,000, going nowhere. So my conversation with him, we need to adjust the price to 70,000 to open up a whole new band of search on Rightmove and the websites. To which he responded, well, I can't sell my house for 70,000. Okay, well, I'm not asking you to do that. Then don't. Yeah, you control the price, Mr. Vendor. You control the decision. What I need to do by adjusting is actually potentially drive a higher price for you by getting more eyeballs on your property and more people around. We achieved 76,000 within 4 days by making that adjustment. Now, when you say the word reduce, to me, in my head, I'm now having a conversation with myself.
I'm losing 10
while you're carrying on going, I can't afford that, I can't afford to move, I can't afford to put the kids through school, I can't afford to get that extension done, I can't afford to pay the solicitors, stamp, etc. I'm having that whole conversation while you're blabbering on about the marketing of the property and no one likes it and so on. I'm not listening. And so therefore, agents then end up compromising, making a smaller reduction, which absolutely has no impact whatsoever on the marketability of the client's house. And then therefore, it's really bad advice. So don't use the word reduction. It's pointless. ASAP, ban ASAP. It's an old word. What does ASAP mean?
Just bring it back.
Yeah.
I think that was sublime what you talked about price reductions. Because the amount of times when I used to value, the vendor used to say, well, Connell's gave me this price.
Yep.
And people's perception is that estate agents are giving them, those two gave me 100 grand and you're giving me 120.
Yeah, giving you the money. That's right. But that's very much down to how you present that in your presentation to the client.
That's an education thing, do you think?
Complete, 100%. Yeah, and this is one of the factors that, as far as I'm concerned, estate agents need to change. This is the fundamental part of the business that needs to change.
Because you teach this on your Valuer course with All Stars, don't you?
Yeah, we do a license to list course, which was very, very much loosely based around my time at Foxtons, which was groundbreaking for me. When I walked into an agency that didn't negotiate on its fees and thought, oh my God, how on earth am I going to survive here? And I flourished because I learned from the people that were there, some exceptional estate agents, how to present to win instructions before talking about the price and the fee, because those two things shouldn't be the basis of a decision to instruct me.
Maybe we could talk about how to get top fee in another video, but let's just come back to some words of good bang. So we've got ASP.
So ASAP.
Reduction is a huge one. Love that.
Well, ASAP, if I may, is, I think, one of the causes of issues with pipelines. Why sales are being delivered out. When you're putting a sale together to go in the pipeline, what is the target date that you're expecting the buyer, because you've done all of your research, and you've verified their situation, that's what you're telling the owner you've done, what's the date they're going to exchange? If you don't know that...
So putting in the on the notification of sale, completion date, ASAP, don't cut the mustard.
Doesn't cut the mustard. When is ASAP? Is it next week, 3 weeks, 6 months? And transactions are taking so much time.
What other words are we going to get rid of? Vendors, purchasers?
I would replace them with, everyone's a customer. We live in a world where, a buyer is your next vendor, your vendor is your next buyer. They're all customers for financial services and conveyancing and et cetera, et cetera. So as far as I'm concerned, it's customers. We treat all customers the same, we treat them all fairly. Valuation we ban, reduction we ban, ASAP we ban. And there's another one, a little phrase that we have to see the back of. Go on then, we're pleased to present. What does that mean? Does it mean that on the ones you don't say that, you're not pleased to present? I mean, come on, really? Have we still not got out of that? We're proud to present, pleased to present, proud to offer to the market. Stop wasting valuable estate with words that don't mean anything to people. Don't waste people's time.
Or where they put the name of the agency, XYZ.
That's anti-touting policy, isn't it? If you print that off, you're going to get. You can't tout me when you use the Rightmove best price. I mean, honestly.
Happy days.
Mad. Happy days.
Thanks, mate.
You're welcome.
Cheers.